Make things undeniably transparent. I am a trans man. I say this because I want to serve as a preface saying I support the LGBTQ community as I am a part of it, and none of this is meant to be hateful towards trans people, etc. So today we're going to be discussing the controversial TikToker Lillytino. Now, a lot of people have issues with her, and I can definitely see why, because she struggles with the concept of knowing the time and the place to say things. So to get the ball rolling here, there's this headcanon in the Spider-Verse movies where Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, whatever, is transgender. People think this because of some of the color choices in the movie scenes with her in them, and there's even some protect trans kids signs and like trans flags in her apartment building in the movie. It's not a problematic theory at all. Really, people just have problems with it because, oh, people want everything to be LGBT, whatever. It's just headcanons. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're not real people. It's a cartoon. As you may have guessed, I'm speaking of this because Lillytino talked about this. She makes videos sometimes discussing characters that might be trans. But when it gets out of hand is when you bring real people into this, real people who have passed on.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans.
So, for those of you who are unaware of who Kurt Cobain is, that is such a nice rock you live under. Like, is it furnished? Oh my god, did you just get it painted? To condense it, Kurt Cobain was the singer to American grunge band Nirvana, and he famously took his life in 1994 in his Seattle home. So, Gwen Stacy is not real. Kurt Cobain most definitely was a living, breathing person. Just because he's gone doesn't really mean you can speak for him, you know? It's like, with the character, they were never able to speak. It's a character, but Kurt Cobain can't fight and disprove anything, and it's just really, really disrespectful.
They wore dresses all the time because they felt comfortable and free. And just look at Kurt in these pictures. They look so happy.
I mean, yeah, dresses aren't all closed up and tight like pants, so in a way, I mean, I guess they are both comfortable and free. She also uses this picture to show how happy Kurt looks in a dress when this is a cropped image and Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl are also wearing dresses in the picture. It's for a photo shoot and it's nothing to look into. Lily, if you're going by that logic, then Nirvana is a band full of trans women. Those are the only members. That's why they have such long hair, because they're just growing it out for their transition. Come on now. And don't you give me that punk rock is about being anti-establishment crap. I don't care about gender roles. These are clearly trans women. Another line that Lily says is, Kurt says they identify more with the feminine than the masculine. I don't think like it takes me saying this, just some random guy. I mean, it's pretty well known in the year of our Lord, 2024. There's so many like pretty boys in Hollywood these days that aren't like traditionally masculine. Like Timothy Chalamet, for example, he's no like Burt Reynolds back in the day, but he's still considered like a really attractive guy. This doesn't mean that he's not a man. That's just how it is. You don't have to be trans to be a little more masculine or feminine.
Of course, Kurt will never be able to tell us themselves, but the evidence makes it pretty obvious they were trans. That might be why Kurt's no longer with us. Maybe Kurt knew that we weren't ready.
I'm sorry to be that guy, but that's offensive. Kurt Cobain was well known to be dealing with depression and struggling with drug use, and he had family members that met the same fate he did. So to just push that all aside and say Kurt Cobain ended his life because he was secretly a trans woman is just... You can't even put into words how disrespectful and not good that is. A lot of Lily's content is her filming herself live streaming while enjoying a meal at a restaurant. She's a sort of food critic, I guess. In going live, she manages to catch herself being misgendered or mistreated by food service employees. Now, as I stated in the beginning of the video, I'm trans and I know what it's like to be misgendered. I get misgendered less so lately after medically transitioning for a year now. But nonetheless, it hurts. I still do get misgendered, and I can understand where she's coming from. It's a hurtful thing when someone doesn't see you for who you are. Personally, I'm not very confrontational, so I've only corrected people like twice maybe at most at work when I do get misgendered, and it's just how I am. I feel like the one good thing I can say really is good on Lily for standing her ground and asserting the fact that she deserves to be called a woman. But what I don't understand is how aggressive she can be with it. I've seen comments on TikTok and other creators kind of nitpick her for giving the waitresses and waiters her pronouns before she orders her food, and that I understand. It's fine. I mean, I think we all realize, Lily herself realizes she has a bit of a deeper voice, so it can get confusing. She's just saying what she would like to be called. No problem there. But when someone slips up, she corrects them, okay, they apologize, but then she goes to talk to their manager to, I don't know, get them in trouble or get them scolded in a way. I really don't know. There's a video that a lot of people use to cite this where she either leaves the restaurant entirely or she calls management over to be upset with the wait staff, and it's just not cool. I mean, if the waiters in the video, you can hear them apologizing.
And looks like he's having a nice feast.
She,
all
she, she, her.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
Nobody was being outwardly hateful, and it's just a lot. In another video of hers, there's 3 dumb kids just being outwardly hateful towards her. They're just making jokes at her expense, and one kid even says,
with the people that march and be like, we're coming for your kids.
maybe? After the video, she shows the kids insulting her. It cuts to her talking to a restaurant employee, and she asks the employee why didn't she step in and help. She takes screenshots of this worker and like posts them, like different frames of the video that she's in, just to criticize her. And honestly, I don't think I've ever applied to a job in like the food service industry where part of the qualifications and part of like the duties of the job include stopping bullying going on or stepping in and confronting people like that. I don't see why it's really her problem. The lady in the video is likely a hostess or a waitress at this establishment, and all I can say is she definitely does not get paid enough to be dealing with situations like that. So, a common reason that the LGBT community gets hated on just as a whole, especially lately as it's become a whole political issue, some people just don't like it when their kids are exposed to people who are different. I don't get it, but all I can really say is it sucks that people can be so close-minded. But at the same time, there's a way where children can be too exposed to certain aspects of the community. Kids are definitely able to understand that the concept of gender and sexuality exists to a point. Like gender roles, for example. Kids know pink and blue generally mean boy or girl, and I'm sure, especially with media nowadays, they've seen same-sex couples. Or maybe they even have a family member who's part of the community. But I feel that Lily exposes kids to far too much, more than they should be knowing at the age that she seemingly is targeting towards. At the time of filming this, the latest video, the most recent video on Lillytino's TikTok page, it is a parody of sorts of Miss Rachel. And Miss Rachel is a content creator on YouTube. She makes videos aimed at babies, basically. She teaches you like how to say mama, dada. She teaches the kids how to clap, count. In this video, in the style of Miss Rachel, Lily goes into describing what transgender is and how to tell if you are transgender.
The first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. Now think, do you feel like a boy, a girl, or a little bit of both? Do you have your answer? Great. Now I want you to imagine that everyone keeps telling you that you're something else, even though in your heart, you know who you are.
It's just such a difficult thing to navigate, and you have to be very careful with the way you discuss this sort of thing with your child. There was a point where I had to tell my little sister-in-law that I was trans. She's a major part of my life. She sees me every day, and she needed to know, essentially. So my wife and I, we came to an agreement of an appropriate way that we could tell her, and she took it fine. We basically just said, I lived and was raised a girl my whole life, but I feel like I'll be better living as a boy and I'll be happier. She basically just said okay, and she hasn't called me my dead name or by she, her pronouns since I came out to her over a year ago. She was already aware that being LGBT was a thing. As a female, like I used to be, I was dating her older sister, and she loves shows like Steven Universe and the Owl House and stuff. Kids, they can understand you if you just explain it like just generally. You don't have to like tell them to think about what they feel or anything. Kids will understand. Another set of videos that really stir up controversy is Lillytino's videos discussing bottom surgery. Let's make this clear though, it's very important for trans individuals, like 18 plus, I'm saying, adult trans people, they should have knowledge about what goes on during these surgeries and how they're performed and the risks and the benefits. Trans people just need information about trans healthcare as a whole. Lily, however, explains the male to female bottom surgery process in such an arguably juvenile way. She compares those body parts to foods that are shaped a similar way. Her most infamous video on this topic is her video where she describes the process at Disneyland. You know, the family amusement park with kids everywhere. Kids you can audibly notice in the background of Lily's video.
I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel.
Yeah, that Disneyland. She even has the nerve to open up the video saying, not once, but twice,
I'm gonna get banned from Disney. I swear we're about to get banned from Disney.
I've seen another creator that says Lily has in the past compared discussing those body parts, those very private body parts, to something like an elbow. But I don't see anybody get arrested for indecent exposure for having their elbows out. You can do that. I don't know if you know, Lily. I was talking with my wife the other day when I was telling her I was going to make this video, and we were saying how it's important for this information to be out, but it should be more clearly geared towards adults. I shared that maybe, just maybe, she has the video set to 18 plus, and you know, my wife and I can't see it's blocked for kids because, well, we're in our 20s. So I did a little investigating, and I made an account where I am said to have been born in 2009. I named it Spencer.test, and for whatever reason, the name came up as Lucas IHOP. I don't know why. So essentially, the age of this TikTok account is 15 years old. When I made the account, it was automatically set to a private account because I wasn't 18. So I search up Lillytino's account, and lo and behold, all of her videos are there. From the Miss Rachel video to the Disneyland video to all of her other videos about bottom surgery prep, just other content that she does. And that's really, really not okay. But I guess Lily's Miss Rachel video was right. Trans people are like you and me. Just like there's bad cis people, there's bad trans people. Lily is a pretty bad person who happens to be trans. I really don't know what else there is to say, what more can be said. I've got a majority of my thoughts out in making this video. If there's anything else that I come up with, I will post more. So this is my first video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.